Welcome to another episode of The King's Couch. I'm your host, Sulo King, and today is going to be a very interesting episode. As you can see, I'm hooked up now in my office on location at Pacific Pearl La Jolla, and I'm doing a special via Zoom edition with an old dear friend of mine, Amos Sharp. She's an entrepreneur and very into snowboarding, skateboarding. She's a mother. How old is your child now?
He turned 15 this last summer. So yeah, time flies.
Very independent and beautiful, free spirit. And I look forward to hearing all about her story, as long as everybody here that's listening. So Amos, why don't you take it away? Let's start at the very beginning, where you were born and raised and what your earliest influences were, as far as finding your passion in life.
So I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, good old Utah. As far as earliest influences, it kind of depends on what part of life you're talking about. Like musically speaking, since I know that's a shared passion that we have, musically speaking, I would say my earliest influences, like the first couple vinyl records that I had, were John Denver's greatest hits. Oh, sorry about that. John Denver's greatest hits and
Still
Bob Marley. What's that?
Your finger's still covering the camera.
I know. There we go. Okay, so earliest musical influences were John Denver and Bob Marley. So, you know, the dichotomy between that was pretty extreme. But and then, man, I've talked about this before on a podcast, but my earliest skateboarding influences were, believe it or not, Bart Simpson, for one.
Really?
I was drawn to skateboarding through, watching The Simpsons, watching Bart on his skateboard. He was like, you know, cruising around. He was mischievous, and I've kind of been an oddball my whole life. So growing up in Utah, I felt really like drawn to Bart Simpson, you know. So and then in snowboarding, I got into it in junior high school. Just went for it, got some sponsorships for that when I was about 18, 19. Just have loved that passion as well. And then, I don't know what else you want to talk about, but I love music and art of all kinds. So,
like every guest I have on the show, I like to go to the beginning and talk about the early influences. But where were you born and raised, and how did you end up in San Diego and then back into you're in Utah now?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Right. So I love Utah very much. Utah has a lot to offer. But when I was 18 years old, I went down to Ocean Beach with a good friend of mine to see a cousin of mine that lived out there, and just absolutely fell in love with it, and knew from that day. I said to my friend, as we were sitting on the beach in Ocean Beach, I said, one day I'm going to live in San Diego. I just know it. Like, this is my place. So fast forward to 2007, my son was about 1 year old. I was still with his dad, and we were kind of looking for a fresh start and where to go. And he's more of like a New Yorker type, arts, business. And I wanted to be at the beach. I wanted to learn how to surf. I love skateboarding. So the culture of that's pretty heavy there as well, So we ultimately decided to move to La Jolla. That's where I met you. So we were there. We separated soon after we'd moved there, but we ended up staying in La Jolla for about 7.5 years. And man, it was the time of my life. I loved it. I loved raising my son there. I loved being able to go, and I would go down to the boardwalk, I guess you call it, down from La Jolla. I would skateboard down through Pacific Beach and down to Mission Beach, and I would do that time and time again, day after day after day, on my bright pink skateboard. And I met so many cool people there. So that was a really, really special time of life. And but then come 2014, I was just ready for another. I get like the 7-year itch, I call it. Like I'm in a place for 7 years and I'm ready to go and kind of change
Yeah.
the scenery. But so I moved back to, I was just kind of ready to have my son be around his family and his cousins. He has a lot of cousins here in Utah. So it was just time to relocate. So headed back to Utah. It was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. I loved everything about La Jolla, everything about San Diego. And it was, yeah, like I said, it was a really, really tough decision to leave, but here I am almost
What part
seven
of
and a
Utah
half
are
years.
you in? Salt Lake?
I'm in Salt Lake City. So I was born and raised in Holiday, which it's a great town. Spent a lot of time in Park City. My grandpa was a horse rancher, so he had a big ranch up in Park City, which is a beautiful mountain town here in Utah. But yeah, Utah's a great place. Lots to do, good people, but I do miss San Diego. I was just down there in October. I talked to you a little bit about that, but it was different though. It was definitely, times have changed from the time that I've lived there to now. So, I don't.
I think it was September because that's when we had the paddle out for Stevo.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and you
Okay,
were
September.
originally going to go, but some reason you didn't make it out.
It was
But you
an
did
odd.
make those incredible socks that you sent me in the mail, which was really kind of you. And I still need to give them to Jessica, but she's kind of a hit or miss trying to get a hold of.
Sure.
So I think that's originally how we met, was through Stevo.
Right, in the
When he
brew
was
house.
working at the brew house. Yeah.
Yep, good old brew house.
For all those people wondering who this mysterious Stevo is, no, it's not the guy from Jackass. But I did have a line I would tell everybody once Jackass became a thing. Before there was Jackass, there was only one Stevo, and our friend Steve Eubank. I've known him since I was probably 16 years old, and unfortunately he passed away earlier this year, which was really tragic and sad due to unfortunate circumstances. And we had a beautiful paddle out for him with the mother of both his children. Both his children were there. Instead of having like flower leis, his oldest child, Bella Rose, it was themed based on her. We were getting roses, to carry around in our mouth and throw out into the ocean. I thought that was
special.
An interesting twist. And then we put his son, Hayden, in the middle of the paddle out once we got out there. We all spoke.
Oh, so cool.
And I like how everyone looked at me as soon as we got out there. Well, what do we do now? Sulo, you got the most speaking experience. Why don't you do that? And I'm like,
take the reins.
The way I started out, it was like, well, we got it here today. I'm like, okay, this is definitely not a funeral.
Right.
I mean, it kind of is. It's a memorial paddle out, but
extra special.
I said what I needed to say, why we were out there, and I had Hayden talk for a little while, and it was a beautiful send off for him. And I wish we could have spread his ashes, but unfortunately, there was some family politics that got involved, and we couldn't do it. That
right.
But
leave that be.
Yeah, but that's, long story short, that's how you and I came to meet, and actually how we got back in touch with each other again. We can connect on Facebook, but there's so many people, so little time when we have to live our own lives.
Absolutely.
Speaking of living our lives, let's go back to your story, and that's where we were. You had moved back to Salt Lake City, to Salt Lake City after living in San Diego for 7 years. And what brought you back exactly? Is it the fact that you have family out there? You just felt that it was time for you to move back?
A little bit of both. I felt like bringing my son back here would be a good idea, like I said, because he has cousins here and family here, which is always good, and at the time when we were living down in San Diego, his dad, even though we weren't together, we were co-parenting, and his dad was living in New York and then in San Francisco for work. And so I was kind of just the Lone Ranger down there. So I was ready for a change of scenery. And to be honest, I was kind of hoping and looking forward to getting married possibly and settling down and having a family. Which I did for a hot minute. You know,
Wait, you were married?
I was. It lasted not even a year. You know, it's not my most glamorous life choice, but you know, the way that I look at situations like that in life is that we go through them for whatever reason, and you just learn from them and grow from them, and you know, no hard feelings, and you just move on. So
Right.
so yeah, I moved back and was married about a year after, and then that whole situation was a little bit rough, but I got through it. And then since then, I've just been kind of full bore, ready to get my schooling done. I'm in school right now, getting my degree in criminal justice.
There you
And
go.
yeah, so I mean, it's been really cool. I have a long ways to go, and I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do with that. I'm thinking I may want to get into law, you know, like be either business law or criminal defense law. I don't know yet, but
What are you studying right
um,
now?
what's that?
What are you studying right now currently?
Well, I'm about couple semesters away from having my criminal justice degree.
There you go.
Yeah, so but the classes that I've liked the most that I've taken like this semester, out of all of them, my criminal law class has stuck out to me the most. And so I'm leaning towards that. You know, my great grandpa and his father were both lawyers for the federal government. So it kind of runs in my blood a little bit, I guess.
Mm.
So but yeah, so when I moved back, it was full bore, or sorry, after my divorce, I thought, okay, well, if love's not going to be the answer, then I'll pursue my schooling, and I'll try and get some of these business ideas off the ground. I don't know. I think because I was kind of a weird kid, like kind of a little bit socially awkward and didn't make friends super easily. So I relied a lot on my imagination, and that's why I love music and art and all that, you know. So that I think has served me pretty well, as far as being creative with my ideas. And so that's where I'm at now. You know, I'm just living a single life out in Utah, raising my son, and and
Right.
working on being an entrepreneur. You know, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. So
Let's talk a little bit about that. What made you want to become an entrepreneur? What influenced you there?
oh well, so I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My mom's mom, my grandma, that's my best friend, she's 87 years old, still, you know, a spitfire like she always has been. But she's probably one of my biggest influences in life. You know, when she was 40 years old, she moved up to Alaska and worked there with the pipeline, and just has always been super adventurous and not afraid to just go for it in life, you know.
Right.
But she started a data entry business, the year that I was born, so in 1981, and ran that super successfully for like 25 years. And just watching her, and man, she gave jobs. She was just an incredible businesswoman, and gave jobs to people like recovering addicts, single moms, you know, people that really were struggling in life. And she
Mm.
provided a way for them to make a living, and just greatly impacted so many people's lives. So I would have to say that she was my greatest influence. But I grew up working for her, you know, her office was right by my junior high. So I'd go from school to her office and just hang out there all day, and just observe and watch what it meant and what it looked like to run a business, you know. So that's and I've had great jobs over the years, and I've, you know, after my divorce, when I was struggling a little bit emotionally, I knew that I'd been working for my family business that was a candy company.
Mm.
But I went and got a job just at the little local grocery store over here in Bountiful, Utah. You know, making like minimum wage, but it was something to get me out and get me going and get me back into life, you know. And I will say that even though that may not be the most glamorous job in some people's eyes, that job influenced and changed my life huge. Just the people that I met, the people that I worked with. So yeah, I've had a lot of great jobs in my life, but I do find a lot of satisfaction in seeing through my ideas and creating ideas. So that's
Oh,
where my
yeah.
drive is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's very interesting. Just like you, a woman in my family influenced me to become an entrepreneur, and that was my mother.
Oh,
And she
cool.
actually owns the center that I'm sitting in right now. She's the co-founder.
No
So during
way.
the pandemic, she offered me a position here, and I was already studying to become a nutritionist and a fitness coach. So
Wow.
she kind of helped propel and fast track that career and introduced me to a new trade, which is neurofeedback and working as a neurotherapist. So
Oh my gosh,
that
how
led to
neat.
me actually becoming a certified life coach on top of things. You know, now just loving helping people in this capacity. You know, I'm taking all the same
Wow.
principles of being an entertainer and applying them this way. Just a lot of fun. It's it has its moments where it's a little stressful and it's kind of scary because it's a new craft and a new trade. And there's so much to
Sure.
learn. You know, I learn something new almost every single day. But I have a great colleague who's actually about to walk in here and check on my IV.
Your hand is looking
Yeah.
a little bit purple, but that's okay.
But he's influenced me in more ways than one. We formulated like a 12-week weight loss program together, and you know, the sky's kind of the limit right now with this new career, and I'm a year deep into it, so I'm just
Wow.
loving it. But let's go back a little more and talk about you know, you as an entrepreneur and where that is really leading you. Like, what are you doing creatively right now? I know you're designing socks. Is that an idea right now, or is that business taking off the ground? Or
I like to call it a slow cooker. You know,
right,
the idea, I've had the idea for quite a while. It seems I'm putting more effort in getting it out there. So it seems like it's picking up a little bit more traction, but yeah, that's probably the project that I hold the most dear to my heart, you know, because doing the socks and the skateboards, they're all based on, you know, genealogy work and family legacies, like the socks that I made for you for Steve, or with Steve's picture on them. So it's been really special and really neat to connect to people. I'll have people that send in their old genealogy photos, you know, and put them on the socks. And there's something just really cool and special and fulfilling connecting people with their genealogy and their ancestors or family members that they've lost recently. You know, it's the heart and soul of that project is what is the most important to me, you know,
right,
and people think like, oh, socks and skateboards, you know, whatever. But I think it's in times of life when, again, for example, like when you've lost someone recently, to open up a gift and see their picture on a pair of socks that you get to put on and you have them close to you and you think about them throughout the day just based on seeing them on the socks, or I don't know, there's just something really special about it. So that is the project that I'm most excited about. And the other flip side to that is trying to get these partnerships aligned with public figures, you know, like famous people, putting like
for the
Einstein.
licensing, yeah,
I get all the licensing, like I've done a bunch of sample socks with them, you know, but I can't release them until I get them. I just want it to be a legit partnership, you know. I mean, technically people do that and then put it out there and just wait for any problem that comes along, but I want it to be a really legit partnership. So that is another side to the project that I think could be pretty successful. It'll take a little bit of work, but it's just cool. I'm excited to see where it goes, you know?
So are you doing like the same concept with the skateboards too?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
They're all, so if you go to my website, which is it's Love Sokker, but Sokker is spelled with K's. It's Lovesokker. It means lion socks in Danish and Norwegian. But anyway.
What gave you the idea for that name?
So my heritage is Norwegian and Danish mostly. So, well, mostly Danish, but I've spent a ton of time in Norway. So Norway is super special to me. But the lion, so our logo is the lion, so love means lion, and then Sokker means socks, which makes sense that that's where the Americanized word of soccer comes from, but it's spelled with K's. So anyway, because the idea generally, it really started with the socks. And then I'm like, no, I skateboard and I ride my own skateboards all the time. So I made sense to put the pictures on skateboards too. So.
And how are you doing the printing for the skateboards?
I have a partnership with a company out of California that does everything for me.
Okay.
I mean, ideally I would be doing them in-house. And I thought, as things grow and evolve, it would be really cool to have some brick and mortar, like locations all around where people can go into the store and just get their stuff printed like that,
Okay.
So that's a long-term goal. But for now, it's pretty small. The project isn't huge, but I'm not equipped to have it be huge at the moment anyway, so as it grows, I hope to kind of accumulate some really knowledgeable people in the business world and we can grow the brand together. So that's the goal.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything I can do to help out, for sure. We'll definitely be posting all your social media links, website, and anything you want to promote on your profile for this episode.
Thank you.
And I'm also interested in talking to you about, getting some authentic sellout socks or maybe even skateboards made. We are working with an artist here in San Diego right now who's hand painting skateboards. So he runs a nonprofit and makes skateboards for underprivileged kids. And he's
cool.
Artist. He used to be a concert promoter like me. Used to run a venue called Soma once upon a time, which was an all ages venue. So
cool.
He started out in the original location. He's about 12 years older than me or so he's in his early 50s. So he got going in the I think 89 originally, 88.
Yeah.
And
OG.
then did that up until the mid 90s, and then just got burned out from doing it. I mean, that happens to the best of us. There's some people in our industry that are lifers, and some people that go off and do other things. And I did that for 8 years, and then I went off and did other things. And
right.
I did a studio for 7 years. I had a valet parking business. I had a production company before. I've done a multitude of different things. Now
good for you.
But I always like to keep multiple things going at the same time. So right now I'm working with our video production team. We just did a collaboration with a brewery out here. We have our own authentic sellout beer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool things, and I love cross promoting. So it's always exciting, hearing other people's stories about, what inspired them. And I love having this platform as a way for you to not just talk about what you're doing now, but what, how you conceived that idea in the first place, and what your early influences were, and
right.
backstory. And I feel like a lot of people don't get to share their backstory when they're interviewed. So I'm trying to do things my way in that sense.
Yeah.
And if anyone could find inspiration and motivation from your story, then I've succeeded in my goal of doing this show. That's what this whole show is for.
Absolutely.
Everyone has a story to tell. And I also say a lot of the time, never judge a book by its cover. I have a lot. So we'll get to that portion at the end of the show. I always ask my guests to at the end of the show with a quote or some kind of empowering message for the viewers.
Okay.
Let's go back a little more to your story about what your current goals are, what you'd like to achieve from here.
Current goals, I would say being a good mom, of course. Raising a teenager in this day and age is an interesting process. I certainly was not an angel growing up. So I tell my son, I've done it all, seen it all. So, anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But so being a good mom and my schooling is another priority. And then like we talked about, I'm kind of venturing into the world of podcasting, which, I am hopeful that it will be interesting and that I'll have interesting people to talk. I mean, I know that I'll have interesting people to talk to. But yeah, there's just something, like you said, really neat about sharing people's story and talking to them and getting to know them and inspiring others through their story. Anyway, so that's another goal that's going to get started once I have my finals week this next week. Then I'm going to be doing my first interview. So wish me luck on that.
What influenced you to want to get into podcast?
I've struggled with it for a while because there's just something about my personality and who I am that has always felt like I want to share. I don't know if it's the artist in me. I certainly hope it's not like some delusional self. I don't know. Because I think, just again, like you said, everybody has a story to tell. It's just a matter of if they want to or not, right?
Yeah, some people are private, I've had several guests be like, I love you, Sulo, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah. So
it's not for everybody,
It's definitely not. And I've struggled a little bit, like I said, even from the time I was little, I'm kind of socially awkward a little bit. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of good, selfishly for me, to get out and really face those fears of communicating and talking to people. But as I racked my brain of, okay, out of the people because I know a lot of people from skateboarding and snowboarding and music and art, and you are the perfect example of that I just find extremely interesting. So I want to have the chance to sit down and talk to them. I'm not a huge fan of being on camera. So I've talked to a couple friends that do podcasts, and they're like, you're okay to just do the audio. And, but I'm hoping again that will help me face my fears of just getting over stuff,
Right.
But I again, I'm just really looking forward to the opportunity to sitting down and picking people's brains and sharing that with whoever wants to tune in.
Right on. Well,
yeah.
Hopefully I can be a guest on your show sometime, and
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being on camera doing this interview today.
I know the sun's going down, so I'm like, all right, it's working in my favor.
Is there snow out there right now?
It's been such a weird winter. We had a big storm this last week that put a couple inches on the ground, but it's all pretty much gone in the valley. But the mountains have a decent amount. The resorts are open, so people are happy.
Cool. Can I get a little glimpse of what it looks like over there?
Oh gosh, it's all dry and
Meanwhile,
what did I do? Can you see me?
I can't now. You cut out for a second.
I told you I'm not
a commercial break.
Yeah, there we go. It's all dry and brown. There's not much to see here.
Yeah. Wow, that is an interesting winter for you guys over there.
It's dry.
It could be covered in snow.
Nope. Global warming is real, and Utah is the proof of that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Meanwhile, in sunny San Diego, we're having a stormy day, which is kind of a rarity for us.
Yeah.
It's been such a bad drought. I'm glad it's raining.
Yeah, exactly. All moisture is welcomed.
Yeah, that's a nice change of pace for us over here. Yeah. Well, hopefully next time you come to San Diego, we can, catch up. It's been
Absolutely.
Too long. I've seen you since you moved. I don't think I've seen you since you moved.
Oh gosh, no, and probably a couple years before I even moved.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Yeah, definitely.
Long overdue.
Way overdue. Tell me more, Amos. Tell me more.
Well, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I will, and maybe it'll be amusing to some people, but art is a big thing for me. So one of my goals for this next 2022 is to get out and learn the art of graffiti, because I've been kind of in that streetwear pop culture scene through my skateboarding for many, many years. So I love artists, you know, I think he's so mainstream, but like Banksy and Cause and all kinds of graffiti artists like that are a huge inspiration to me. So, you know, in talking about art, I have to touch on that, because I said, you know, finally I bought a big supply of spray paint, and I said, I just need to find a wall and a mentor and get down to it. And then I will check that off of my bucket list of life. I said,
awesome.
In my next life, I'm coming back as a graffiti artist. So
I'm sure I know I have some friends in that world.
Oh, cool.
And then hear their side of the story about things.
Oh,
it's a fascinating culture. You know? That's
oh,
pretty cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the art itself, you know, I don't know, train art, you know, train graffiti. I've always been drawn to that. And so that would be a huge life goal, to get a piece up on a train and have it be high quality. I'm pretty particular about my style of graffiti that I like, but.
Well, I know there's a couple different documentaries you can check out. There's a couple different like clubs out there, organizations that are kind of underground. Might be able to connect you with, that I've come across over the years. It's been a while. Not every day I meet someone that wants to be a graffiti artist. But,
you know, but
more power to you. That's a form of expression, you know, as long as you're not like defacing public property in a menacing way.
Oh gosh, no, definitely not. No, it would. Yeah, I'm a law abiding citizen.
Right.
But that's one of the cool things about social media, you know, is all that exposure that you can see. There's so many incredible female graffiti artists out there now that it's just fun to watch. And I'm eager to transfer, because I just do pencil drawings, but I love doing kind of street art characters that are inspired by graffiti.
I would love to see some of your artwork sometime, so we'll have to connect on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just started making them into stickers, you know, which is cool. It's cool to see like a piece that you've spent so much time on, that you love so much. And then, because I grew up loving stickers, that was one of the things that I've always been kind of a collector. So stickers were a huge part. So having my art turned into stickers is kind of fun. I don't know. It's a simple thing, but yeah.
That's something to be proud of, for sure.
It's cool.
I had Jimbo Phillips from Santa Cruz Skateboards do our album cover, which was really cool though.
Oh my god.
That was like always been like a goal of mine, to have like a famous artist, like, you know, make something for me.
That's kind of a big deal.
Our album cover, and he killed it. So we are actually finally releasing that vinyl that we put out. We put our record out in 2018 and never put out physical products for it. We just, you know, released it online on all the streaming platforms and published it that way. So we're excited about that. But the artist, for some reason, he keeps asking me, he's like, when are you gonna, you know, put out the vinyl? I want a copy. So that's, I'm stoked on it. Yeah.
Well, vinyl records, that's so funny, because that's one thing my son is asking for Christmas, is he wants vinyl records. And I'm like, oh, be still my heart.
They don't make CD players anymore. Everything's digital. So
right.
Yeah. So that's rad. So that's why, you know, what was going to make a comeback? Cassette tapes or vinyl?
Exactly. Vinyls, there's just always something special. There's always been something special about vinyl records.
Yeah, you can't mess with that analog sound that a vinyl produces.
No doubt.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, why don't we talk about where you got your nickname from? Amos. Where did that come from?
Well, okay, so there's like an ongoing debate about it, because my family seems to forget that they called me that when I was little. But I found a journal entry from school, like from elementary school, where, you know, your teacher would have like something on the written on the board, and then everybody would go into their daily journal and write, you know, a response to it or whatever. So I did find that. So it's legitimate that my family called me Amos when I was little, but then it kind of fizzled out. And then I dated a guy in high school that just started calling me Amos again. And I've come across a couple other girls, because it is a man's name, you know, but I've come across a couple other girls that are named Amy, and their family have called them Amos as well, you know. So, but I think my family, because when I was little, I don't know, everybody thought I was a boy. And even when I had long hair, you know, and heaven forbid, when I had my hair cut short, they definitely thought I was a boy. But I think that's probably why my family stopped calling me Amos.
Right.
They didn't want me being confused. I don't know, but it's just a name that has stuck, you know? So a lot of my friends still call me that. It's kind of a mixed bag. People either call me Amy or Amos. So
Yeah.
it's just, I guess it could be worse, right?
I think either or suits you well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, it's getting dark. Can you even see me anymore?
I can still see you.
I'm fading into the background.
Still.
You're so sweet.
Oh.
But yeah. So what else you want to chat about, Sulo?
Whatever you want to talk about. You know, I'm here for you today.
Well, I think that's a really neat story about your mom and how she's inspired you. You know, having a son myself, that relationship is really, really important. So it's neat to hear how she's inspired you and how she's played such a pivotal role in your chapter of life with your career and all that. So that's really neat.
Yeah, definitely. It can be a little overbearing at times, but you know, she's a powerhouse. What can I say? You know?
She must be, yeah.
She's
and working
a beautiful lady, smart, wise, and just compassionate. She runs a nonprofit called Miraglow Foundation, and what they do is they raise money to fund educational health systems throughout the world.
Oh, wow.
On top of things that she does. She's an energy healer. She can hypnotize you. She's a former trauma nurse, you know, registered nurse, and innovated integrative health, which is, for those of you that aren't familiar, integrative health is a blend of Eastern and Western philosophies of medicine, sort of integrative and holistic medical practice here.
Cool.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting here with the IV in my arm right now. There's all kinds of, you know, good vitamins and minerals, and you know, a little bit of B12 in there too.
Giddy up.
And yeah, you know, someone was a no-show for an IV today, so once it's prepped, you know, we can't just put it back.
The perks.
It goes to waste, it goes to use. So I was lucky. You know, it's kind of like I can't think of another analogy besides once a drink is made, it either goes gets thrown out at the bar or goes down somebody's gullet. And
waste not, want not.
My cocktail is this IV.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Bonus.
And I'm stoked because I'm going to go to the gym in a couple hours, so I'm going to feel great.
Well, like I said, I've never done an IV drip, but I know people that have, and it's very intriguing. So
you should come out here. You know, I'll walk you through our website, and we can even customize an IV for you based on your needs.
Cool.
Yeah, we do a lot of radical stuff. You really dig it over here. So next time you come to San Diego, I'd love to give you a tour of where I work, and you know, just properly catch up. You know?
Yeah.
And if I ever come out to Salt Lake, you need to take me snowboarding, skateboarding.
Absolutely. Oh, done deal. I should be back probably. I mean, this next year I'll be out at least once, so we'll make it happen.
Awesome. I haven't been to Salt Lake in forever, so it gives me a good excuse to get out of Dodge.
Get on it. Get on it.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to discuss? I know it's starting to get dark, so we can wrap this up here if you want.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't have the best, like I told you, I have 3 dogs in my house. And so trying to sit down and have a conversation that doesn't have a lot of background noise is a little bit difficult. Hence
Well,
the
I
reason I'm in my
appreciate
car.
you doing it in your car, and
That'll
being
be the way it
mindful of the
is.
background noise, that's very polite of you. So, well, I guess this brings us to our portion of the show where guests, I asked them to tell the listeners, the viewers, a quote they live by or an empowering message that they'd like to share with the rest of the world.
Ooh, can I share a couple?
You can share whatever you want.
Okay. Gosh, and I hope that I can get these verbatim, but I bear with me if they're a little bit off. So I love a quote by Albert Einstein. Part of it is, he says, the most important human endeavor is striving for morality in our actions, which I think speaks for itself, living a life with high morals and compassion and love and empathy and just striving to do our best by our day-to-day actions. But one of my absolute favorites is a quote by Salvador Dali, who is, I'm sure, like many, many people in this world, one of my favorite artists. And let me think about it really quick. His quote says, one day it will have to be officially admitted that what we have christened reality is an even greater illusion than the world of dreams. So I love that. Let me say it one more time, okay?
One more time.
Yeah, one day it will have to be officially admitted that what we have christened reality is an even greater illusion than the world of dreams. So kind of makes your, just like his art, right? It kind of takes your mind for a little twist and thinking about that. So I guess there's kind of an opposing point in those two, but
I agree.
Yeah, those are 2 of my favorites. Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
well, thanks for that. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I know it's getting dark, so you probably got to get back to your dog.
Getting back to my finals.
Child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does your ex also live out there?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, he does. He lives about 5 minutes away from me, so it's super convenient. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that works.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, this wraps up another episode of The King's Couch. I'm your host, Sulo King. I better get going because the IV is almost done, as you guys can see.
You win the award. This wins the award for the most interesting setup.
Well, interesting host setup. Oh man,
love it.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, Amy. Once again, it's great to see your face, and we'll properly catch up soon. And if you want to catch up with what she's doing, get some socks made or some interesting skateboards made, you can follow all the links that she'll provide that'll be available on her profile for this episode. So, like I said, that wraps up another episode of The King's Couch, and I will catch you guys next time. And my quote is, stay radical.
Thanks, Sulo.
You got it. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, bye.
All right, are we ending? Are we done?
Yeah, it's,
okay.
Hold on one second.